you've used it today, maybe a dozen times. Every time you typed into ChatGPT or Claude, every image an AI generated, every recommendation an algorithm served you, all of it ran on chips made by one company. A company that, 15 years ago, most people on Wall Street had written off. Here's the thing though, this wasn't luck. It wasn't even about making the best chip. It was about something most people have never heard of. And by the time the rest of the world figured it out, it was already too late. In 1993, Jensen Huang co-founded NVIDIA. The pitch was simple: build chips that make video games look better. That was it. Graphics, games, nothing world-changing. For most of the 90s and the 2000s, that's exactly what they did. Gamers loved them. Investors mostly ignored them. They weren't a tech darling. They were a niche supplier. But quietly, while everyone was focused elsewhere, Jensen was building something else entirely. Something that had nothing to do with games. Early products struggled, competitors were ahead, and NVIDIA was running out of money. By the early 2000s, the company came dangerously close to collapse. The company that would one day power AI almost didn't survive long enough to see it. But NVIDIA made a decision that would quietly change everything. Instead of just building faster chips, it started building something far more powerful: a platform. In 2006, NVIDIA launched something called CUDA, Compute Unified Device Architecture, which basically means we're going to let developers use our graphics chips to do anything. Not just render games, run scientific simulations, process weather data, train machine learning models. At the time, almost nobody cared. But Jensen kept investing in it, year after year, for nearly 2 decades. They built developer tools, libraries, frameworks, training programs. By the time AI exploded in 2022, CUDA had over 4 million developers building on it, thousands of optimized applications, and deep integration across major AI research labs. Here's what that means in practice. If you're a company trying to build an AI product and you want to use a competitor's chip, you don't just swap hardware. You rewrite years of code, retrain your entire engineering team, and potentially rebuild your entire software stack from scratch. The chip was never the moat. The ecosystem was. NVIDIA spent 18 years making itself impossible to leave. And nobody noticed until it was too late. November 30th, 2022. OpenAI releases ChatGPT. Within 5 days, 1 million users. Within 2 months, 100 million. The fastest consumer product adoption in history. And suddenly, every AI lab, every startup, every tech giant had the same problem. We need to scale, fast. We need chips, now. Who had the chips? Who had the software ecosystem those chips ran on? Who had 2 decades of infrastructure that every AI researcher already knew how to use? NVIDIA. Only NVIDIA. Let's talk about the scale of what happened next. NVIDIA captured roughly 90% of the AI GPU market. Their data center revenue exploded, growing at unprecedented speed. And their flagship AI chips cost a fraction to manufacture, but sell at massive premiums. One of the most profitable products in modern history. But here's where it gets interesting. NVIDIA's biggest customers are also its biggest competitors. Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta. They are all spending billions trying to build their own AI chips. Chips that could eventually replace NVIDIA. So the question is no longer whether NVIDIA won the AI race. The question is how long they can hold the lead. A gaming chip company spent 18 years quietly building an ecosystem nobody thought mattered. Then the world changed overnight. And because of a decision made in 2006, one company now controls the infrastructure that powers artificial intelligence. And maybe the real question isn't what AI will do, but who controls the machine it runs on.